So I'm sitting here with Alexander Gonzalez Inarritu, who has brought us films like Babel and Amores Perros. And you've come to Cannes with Beautiful, your new film, and it has people buzzing about Golden Palm and prizes. It's a very powerful film, and yet it's quite a harsh film in many ways. Talk a little bit about why this film has come to you, and with a name like Beautiful, there's tension going on, but certainly between the title of the film and the world that you portray in the film.
Well, basically, this film is cook. The fundament of this film is it relies in the contradictions of life, and life it's always presents us opposites, situations that simultaneously play a role in our life. Life is not bad or good or light or dark. I think it's both simultaneously. It's a very complex experience that we always are struggling with. That's what it makes it fascinating. And I think this character is exactly doing that. He's all the time struggling with one of the toughest moments that anybody can have. Navigating through self-understanding of himself and awareness of his own conscience and trying to put things together. I'm finding light in the dark. That's the beautiful title came in, which is not an ironic thing, but I want the people just to see, squeeze the light in the dark and focus on that.
I mean, all of your films are so ambitious. This film is also very ambitious, but it's different in that it follows mainly the story of one man, Uxbal, I'm going to say it wrong.
It's good.
In an immigrant neighborhood, a very poor neighborhood of Barcelona. Where did this man come from to you as a writer, and why are you telling us his story, which is also telling us the story, as your movies always do, they're telling us about the world we live in general, but through this man?
I think this man appeared after I heard the song, well, not a song, a piece, a beautiful, a masterpiece of music. Concierto para piano of Ravel, which it's number 3 in G major, and I think that set the tone. And in that time, it's a nice story that I have with my kids. Anyway, they react so emotional, they start crying simultaneously when they're very young. And that day appeared the character, and I saw the face of Javier. And since that day, 2 years after, I became to try to understand this guy that couldn't live out of myself. I saw how he presented, what it was happening to him, and then compulsively it was just like this strange process of writing which came from I don't know where.
So it's a story as he travels through this very, challenging culture, which, by the way, most films do not show us. You show us Chinese immigrant workers. We never look at how they live or how they feel or what their lives are like. The essentially slave labor of modern day society. And Uxbal is somebody who actually cares about these people, even though he's working in contraband or with the Senegalese workers on the street. They're actually invisible people in our society.
This is a society and a community that has been impacting mostly or all of European cities nowadays. A new reality is the society that will reshape the structure, social and economical and political structure of Europe, and he's doing it now. The problem is that few people want to deal with it, few people want to accept it. The people blame them, or the people victimize them, but they are not seeing just an integrative process, natural, of human beings, that immigration has been always the nature of us. It's just that what happened in 300 years now is happening in 20 days. So I just wanted to integrate, because living in Barcelona and going to these neighborhoods, which are very well present, but kind of, as you said, invisible. All these things are happening. I shot in real places.
I was asking,
a lot of people.
That is actually what it's like in this. You didn't make up this place.
No, it's just the people doesn't want to accept it. But every day in the newspapers in Spain appear these kind of, spaces which are full of these people which have been enslaved. And you see the sites, and you interview them, and you visit where they live, how they live, how it's amazing stories are there, and all these Africans that are dying in the sea by sunken. Every day there's a newspaper telling incredible stories, and it's growing and growing, and it's something that I found it as a fascinating context for Uxbal thing, because I felt that Uxbal belongs to that. You know, I felt that, and it, again, is this contradictory nature of him dealing with the very intimate, personal, existential moment in his life, going inside in an espiral, as his life is out of control in this society that is just finding themselves trying to invent a way to survive, and that's what I thought was very kind of incredible tension to show.
It's a very brave thing to do, because I think certainly we don't see this, and the fact that this is not, it could be, your films feel so real. They almost have you know, a documentary. And I say this not as a. They don't look like documentaries, but they feel so authentic, and they're so immediate, and they're so much not what we normally see in film. Just tell me a bit about Javier Bardem, who gives the unbelievable performance as Uxbal, so moving and so you know, delicate and subtle. You thought of him, you wrote the role for him?
Yes, the first day, when that guy knocked my door, I saw Javier's face, and I was like, I scared myself. But then I said, well, it's fine. No, I wrote to him the role. It's a suit made to his body and his soul and his talent, and that he surpasses. Yeah, nobody could have done it, and I will never be doing this film without him, honestly.
You wouldn't have done the film?
No, because I think the qualities of the story and what the story requires, and the fact that I wanted to shoot it in Spanish, even when all the Spanish people say, why you shoot it in Spanish, it will reduce your market possibilities as well. You know, I cannot subordinate my need to the consequences of the commercial side of it. It's just I wanted to do this film there and in Spanish. So, you know, it's a decision that would look wired in this pragmatical world of economic interest, but you know, I love to do that because it was fascinating for me.
What do you say? I heard you say in the press conference here that you feel society is sick, but at the same time you consider this film to be a hopeful film, which I don't know if everyone who sees it will agree with you.
I think there's people that react chemically against being vulnerable and discussing about death or discussing about poverty or exploring those themes. People feel very uncomfortable. Some of them, it's a chemical reaction of it. They cannot take it, it's too much. And they prefer to deal with other things. And they always accuse that thing of being melodramatic or whatever, but it's people that probably they don't have a lot of opportunities to really travel as I have had. I have been an immigrant for 10 years, I have been traveling, I have been a first-class immigrant, but I am an immigrant. But I have had the opportunity to live in many, many countries, shooting with all my family as a circus family. It's such a true thing. That universe is real. And I think there's people that will see hopeful signs during the film, because I think that there's a lot of love, there's a lot of tenderness, there's a lot of compassion, there's a lot of self-acceptance, there's a lot of forgiveness, and all those signs. And the way I shot it, I tried to make a very luminous film at the end. So, I mean, I think that from the dark, I think it's, for me at least, it's a navigation toward light. And literally and graphically, the film will end up like that. It's the way I wish that can be, you know, it's about that. It's about where it ends, not where it starts, in my point of view. In a very complex way. It's not a Manichaeism story of good, bad, or is nice or not. It's much more complex than that, but I guess there's a lot of things to be relieved from there, or to make a catharsis in a good way, you know, positively, I think.